Once upon a time, there was a scorpion who lived by the edge of a river. He was a cunning scorpion, and all the animals around knew not to trust him, as he was known to be deceitful and dangerous. However, the scorpion always insisted he had no bad intentions, blaming the other animals for judging him unfairly. One day the scorpion decided he needed to cross the river to reach the other side, where he had heard the land was fertile and insects were plentiful. But there was a problem. Scorpions can't swim, and crossing the river was impossible for him. After thinking for a while, he came up with an idea. He would find an animal who could help him across. As he looked along the riverbank, he saw a strong green frog resting near the water. "Perfect," thought the scorpion. "Frogs are excellent swimmers. This frog could carry me to the other side." So, the scorpion approached the frog and said in a smooth, friendly voice, "Dear frog, could you do me a favor? I need to cross the river, but I can't swim. Could you carry me on your back to the other shore?" The frog looked at him warily, knowing well the reputation of scorpions. She kept her distance and replied, "How can I be sure you won't sting me while I'm carrying you? If you do, you'll inject your venom and we'll both die in the water." The scorpion shook his head and quickly tried to reassure her. "Oh no, why would I do something so foolish? If I sting you, you'll die, and so will I, as I cannot swim. I give you my word that I won't do anything to endanger either of us. All I want is to cross the river and find new opportunities on the other side." The frog hesitated for a moment. The scorpion's words seemed logical, and the idea of harming them both was absurd. So, after a bit more thought, she agreed to help him. "All right, scorpion," the frog said cautiously, "climb onto my back, but remember that I'm trusting you." Pleased, the scorpion climbed onto the frog's back and she began to swim slowly toward the other shore. At first, everything went well. The frog swam steadily through the current, and the scorpion clung to her back without moving. Both were focused on reaching the other side safely. But halfway across, when they were in the deepest part and far from either shore, the scorpion began to feel a strange agitation. Although he knew that stinging the frog would doom them both, a part of him couldn't resist. The sensation of his claws touching the frog's soft skin awakened an impulse he couldn't control. Suddenly, before he could even think, the scorpion raised his stinger and struck the frog's back. The frog felt the sharp pain of the venom and realized what had happened. Her body began to numb and her strength quickly faded. As they both started to sink into the water, the frog looked at the scorpion with sadness and disappointment. "Why did you do it, scorpion?" the frog asked in a weak voice. "Now we're both going to die. Why couldn't you keep your promise?" The scorpion, with the same surprise and sorrow in his eyes, replied, "I'm sorry, frog. I couldn't help it. It's in my nature." With those words, both the frog and the scorpion were swept away by the current, sinking into the river's deep waters. Moral: this fable teaches us that a being's nature is hard to change, and that trusting someone without truly knowing their character can have serious consequences.